हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द चैनल नॉलेज 24 और DBMS की इस लेक्चर सीरीज में आज हम देखने वाले हैं वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक विच इज ER डायग्राम. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. फर्स्टली वी हैव टू नो दैट ER stands for entity relationship. Now what is ER diagram? So ER diagram is a overall logical structure of the database, or it's a pictorial or graphical representation of the database, or simply we can say that it's a blueprint of the database. Now the next question is, what are the main components of ER diagram? And the answer is we have mainly four components in ER diagram: entity, attribute, relationship and cardinality. Let's see the definition of each component. So the first one is, what is entity? An entity is an object in the real world. For example, any person, place, things, animal, birds, etc. So this is entity. Next is, what is attribute? An attribute is a property or characteristics of an entity. For example, किसी पर्सन के लिए उसके एट्रीब्यूट हो सकते हैं नेम, हाइट, एज, फोन नंबर, एड्रेस, एक्सेट्रा. So this is attribute. Now the next is, what is relationship? And relationship is the association among several entities. For example, I give lecture. Here give is the relationship between I and lecture. Now the next is, what is cardinality? And cardinality is the number of entities to which another entity can be participate via a relationship set. So this is cardinality. And how many types of cardinality? We have mainly four types: one to one, one to many to one and many to many. So one to one means an entity in A is associated with at most one entity in B, and an entity in B is associated with at most one entity in A. Now in ER diagram, every entity is represented by the rectangle box, and attribute is represented by the ellipse or oval shape, and relationship is represented by diamond box. And now the next is, what are the various types of attributes in ER diagram? So we have four attributes: key attribute, composite attribute, multi-valued attribute and derived attribute. So let's see one by one. So the first one is key attribute. It is the single atomic value or unique value with the primary key, and it is represented by oval shape box and the attribute will underline. So this is the primary key attribute. Then second is composite attribute. Composite attribute means a attribute which can be further subdivided. For example, name. Name can be divided into a first name or last name. So this is composite attribute, and it is represented by a attribute with the other attribute. Then the next one is the multi-valued attribute, means it can hold multiple values. For example, a person have multiple phone number, so phone number have multi-valued and it is represented by double oval box. And last one is the derived attribute, and its value is derived from the other attribute. So it is derived and it is represented by the dashed oval box. Now the next question is, what is the difference between a strong entity set and weak entity set? So the answer is, strong entity is independent to any other entity, while weak entity is always dependent on the strong entity. Then second difference is, strong entity always have a primary key, but weak entity has no primary key. Then the third difference is, a strong entity is represented by the rectangle box, while weak entity is represented by the double rectangle box. So these are the differences. Now we will see next difference between total participation and partial participation. So total participation means each entity is involved in the relationship and it is represented by the double lines. And second is Partial participation means not all entities are involved in the relationship, means some entities are involved in the relationship and some are not, and it is represented by single line. So these are the two differences. So this is all about ER diagram. Now let's see the example of ER diagram. This example shows the three entities. The first one is employee with three attributes: employee number, salary and phone number. Here employee number is the primary key. Then second entity is department and attributes are department ID, the name and working hours. And the third entity is child with attributes name and age. Now employee और department के बीच में relationship है works in, so employee works in department. ऐसे ही employee और child के बीच में relationship है dependent, so child dependent on the employee. So this is the simple example of ER diagram. Thank you.